Welcome back to just another solar podcast with Beattie, that's me, and Karl Jensen.
That's me.
You've got some big news?
I do. I resigned from my current position and I've got a couple of weeks of gardening leave ahead of me. Well, I'm really looking forward to that because my garden's an absolute mess. And the other big news is that Tesla Model Y went on sale today. And even though I've already got two other Teslas on order, I couldn't help myself.
So you're going to become a dealer?
Not quite, but it looks like I might need another charging station in the garage.
We don't need to muck around today. We've got very, very interesting guests today. Jack Long, or Longy, as the whole industry knows him. Longy was one of the founders and, well, basically a big dog at Solar Cutters, which has been a grassroots industry phenomenon. Welcome aboard, Jack Long, or Longy. It's the last time I'll call you Jack Long.
Thanks. Yeah, glad to be here. And you've had a Rolodex of incredible guests before me, like absolute heroes of the industry. So I really appreciate being able to, come on and talk.
And I think there's a whole lot of the Solar Cutters story. Like, people can look at the online forums and obviously the best networking events in the industry, but there's also a backstory to Solar Cutters. Before we jump into it, do you want to give us just the elevator pitch of who Solar Cutters are and what they stand for?
Yeah, so ultimately Solar Cutters is about quality. So quality installations, quality installers, and obviously there's a big community push behind it. So everyone, we want to work together, to build a higher quality industry for everyone, and just take pride in what you do. Take care of the customer, and look after those systems, for the long term.
And you've built quite a community. I mean, how many members at the moment? I think it's 3,000 plus or something.
So I just checked. So I think it's about 3,500 members on the Solar Cutters Working Together page at the moment.
It's pretty impressive considering there's only, 8,000 people with a CEC ticket. That's almost half the people out there.
Yeah. So on the page, it's not just CEC accredited installers. So obviously there's a lot of manufacturers on there, some manufacturing tech support. There's a lot of wholesalers on there as well. So there's a lot of stakeholders that go into the group to provide support and just keep building that community. Yeah, obviously we don't let everyone in. That's why there's only 3,000 members, but we sort of like to keep it that way. So there's obviously a few checks and balances that go in.
To build a community like that, how did it first start? I mean, there was fragmented online groups between Whirlpool and Facebook. There was a bit of banter. So how did that morph into a big group of like-minded people?
All right. So I'll explain and just jump in and ask questions, but I'll just try to explain it to the best of my memory. I think Karl would sort of, and probably yourself, LB, remember a lot of it. I started at Energy Matters in 2009. And then I think 2014, that's when I was on Facebook one night and I found this page called Crap Solar. And as you know, Karl and Luke, when we were at Energy Matters, sort of back in 2010 to 2012, 13, the industry was very siloed. Like, you didn't really know anyone else from other states or even New Zealand. You're very isolated. But any time you saw people in a relevant industry, it was when you went to an SMA training and you didn't really know anyone apart from the contractors that you used. So then I jumped on Crap Solar and I started seeing all these posts go up and I was like, wow, there's a page about Crap Solar, which is Australia and New Zealand. And, I've heard of that person. Oh, wait, that guy's asking a question and I know the answer. Or they're talking about stuff that I found interesting, which was extremely relative to what I was doing in my role at the time with Energy Matters. And then I just got sucked in, man. And every night, this on Crap Solar, this is hilarious. Obviously it's very depressing because it's
a terrible
installs out there.
But Crap Solar also became a forum where guys would discuss good stuff as well.
So that's where the segue is. So Crap Solar was really the first social media group page, which just sort of came after, I think it was Whirlpool, Karl.
There's a lot of Whirlpool in there, mate. I think I've wasted fucking thousands of hours in there.
Yeah, I think you got booted at least once.
Several times.
I think Karl was over. I think your handle was oversized something. I remember
oversized.
in 2010, I was on Whirlpool, and it was like, I think it was Karl, and now I know it was like Matt Hines, Adrian Luke,
John Inglis.
were sort of the main ones on the solar page. Oh, these guys are legends, like so much knowledge. Anyway, so then on Facebook, so that was crap solar, and then it wasn't just crap. People were actually like, oh, hey, wait, I know you. Like, can you help me out with this? People started asking questions and wanting answers to things, solutions, people who were like in different states. And then people started asking a lot of questions and talking, and it's like, oh, wow, actually, this is actually pretty cool. I'm not sure what came first. I think there was quality solar, but I'm pretty sure, I think it was 2015, 2016, there was a page called CEC Installers Working Together, AUNZ, which was actually started by Cliff Wigg. Yeah, so he started the page because he wanted to sort of condense it down into, you know, a professionals only environment where people could ask questions, get answers. So yeah, and then we all transitioned over to that page, and Crap Solar that kept running in parallel, and it was just awesome. I don't know, it started getting this reputation of...
You had a lot of the answers, but you also had direct lines to a lot of the manufacturers that people were asking questions about.
That's where I'm heading. So a lot of the time will be on the CEC Working Together page, and people were asking a lot of questions, and I was giving them a lot of answers. And then if I didn't get the answer or didn't know the answer, I would go to the world's end, like, to get that answer for that person, because it's usually late at night, usually prepping for the install, like in the morning. Fronius were probably the first company / manufacturer to actually get involved on that platform. Like, you'll tag like Sam Patel, Balaji, Hot Rod, and they were actually very proactive on the page. And then that's when I think Fronius International started looking at it. So Hans was like, oh, wow, this is a great platform on here. We can really, you know, start using this page and start helping people, not just on tech support. I wanted installers to get the same support like that I got, which was good support. I had lines to everyone there, but I wanted installers to get the same level of support, you know, and not calling it like 4:30 because they can't commission an inverter.
Yeah, so that you didn't have to provide it for them, Jack.
Yeah, basically. But I was just finding like other people having the same like fucking problems.
Look, I'm still doing it now, right? I'm still answering the phone at 10 o'clock at night. Yeah, for
something like 10 minutes before this started.
On the last day with your current employer.
At
last PO.
At 6 o'clock at night, yeah.
So this is even before cutters even was a thing. During that, I think it was 2015 to mid 2017, it just started building this community momentum sort of behind it on the CEC page. And then it was actually my boss, Andy Big Mac McCarthy, who was actually on Quality Solar, I think, because we're using the hashtag Stonecutters because of The Simpsons, because it was like underground society of solar installers. Yeah, it was.
You know a little bit about The Simpsons, Jack?
Apparently, yeah.
So you're a bit of a fan. You can pretty much pick, if someone gives you a scene, you can pretty much tell them what season it came out if we're talking that kind of a fan.
Up until season 12, 13. I think after that, I get a bit rusty. It's just, I love the
Potentially you've got a tattoo of the episode somewhere on your body.
I do. I do have the Solar Cutters tattoo and the Fronius tattoo.
Yeah, cool. So
there's some Simpsons in there as well, though, right? In the tattoos.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So people are using the hashtag.
Yeah, so the hashtag was going around. I think Rami from Juice was involved too, but Andy was like, "What about Solar Cutters? I'll buy that T-shirt." And I was like, "Far out, that's something that might
have landed on something here." Yeah,
I have something here. And then literally from that moment, it just blew up. So I changed it to Solar Cutters, and I think someone from Keen to Be Green, Matthew Cooper, I think one of Dan's sales guys actually came up with the logo. I had a graphic designer do it up professional. So obviously we changed it to the MC4 male-female plugs.
Which is a great logo, by the way. You know, it's obviously well recognised. And, you know, obviously
the edginess, the Simpsons and solar. It was like, you know.
Thank goodness the standard plug hasn't changed since then too. You know, could have been Hoover and sooner. You wouldn't even realise.
Been lucky. But, you know, at the end of the day, that sticker doesn't look totally out of place. If you stick it on the front of someone's inverter.
Yeah, we've got the shutdown labels now. It's working on the shutdown labels.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, thanks to Rick at PV Connections for that. I think 2016, that's when we changed the name to Solar Cutters working together on the admin side. And then that's when we sort of, when I say we, when Andy was like, oh, we should do the T-shirt. And people, oh, you do T-shirts, I'll buy merch, this would be awesome. That's when my best friend Costa sort of came on board and really got involved. And that's how the partnership sort of started and blossomed from there.
Because Costa's an organizer. He has everything in hand.
One of the most meticulous people I've ever met. Is like very Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah, but I couldn't do it without him, and I couldn't do it then without him, and I definitely can't do it now without him.
So the early days there, it's this forum, Facebook group, Solar Cutters working together, and you've got the merch. There's a bunch of like-minded guys who are going, yeah, this is something we want to be attached to, put our name on quality, associate with this group of like-minded people.
But to build that framework and that community, because I really wanted like an independent group devoid by any manufacturers or, sales pitches. I wanted a group which was truly independent. It had all the big manufacturers involved as a collective, knowledge sharing, building a community, and just helping people out. People haven't met each other and just, whatever. We're all in the same industry. Let's all work together to build a better industry. And obviously you get people posting and, answering questions and stuff. But what a lot of people don't know is there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that goes into that. And it's before we had a proper admin. So now we've got 5 admins. Yeah. So I was working full time, I think at Energy Matters. It was Sun Edison Flex. And at Flex Sun Edison, I really didn't enjoy it. So then I would be working during the day and then at night, working on Solar Cutters, posting, replying to posts, 15 to 30, 40 messages a night on Messenger about tech support, help, questions. I need to install in this area. Can you help me out? I need to find like a high quality installer in this regional area. Can you help me out? Just every possible solar related question you can think of, I'll be getting at all hours. At the time for that period, 2016, 2017, 2015, I was not great emotionally, having a lot of personal demons, issues in my life. So I sought solace in leaving work, going to the pub, getting the laptop, the iPad or the phone out and just jumping on Cutters because people appreciated what I was doing and I just enjoyed it and I got in my zone, had the music on, had a glass of wine or whatever and just get stuck in and just get so involved in it. And then it would be 2, 3 in the morning. Usually, I think on average, 4 nights a week during the work week, it'd be up till 2, 3 in the morning on Messenger on the group still for 3 years.
Wow. So that's effectively like another full-time job.
Yeah, and there was no money coming in.
It wasn't just that platform, right? There was a couple of different platforms that were running all at the same time.
Yeah, so by that stage, I was an admin on Crap Solar, Quality Solar, and Solar Cutters working together, and Solar QA, I think that came 2019, I think. So yeah, that wasn't, but there's at least 3 solid groups. At the time, Quality Solar was sort of smashing it as well. And Crap Solar's always been smashing it. And there's 40,000 members now on Crap Solar.
That's huge.
We'd be dealing
with the other admins, I think Dave Petrie, Chris Stork.
Yeah, so the legend himself, Chris Stork, started the page. And there's Dave Petrie, Travis Stork, and Chris Learned, who are the other admins, and myself. And you should see the stuff they get on there, man. The messages, people threatening legal action. You see the posts, and it's it's like naming and shaming on Crap Soul. But there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes on the admin side, to diffuse those situations between 2 parties, often at night. And it's all, they do it for free. It is unfortunate that it gets to a stage in this industry in Australia and New Zealand where we need a page that's called Crap Solar. It's so popular. And then the other side of that is it's unfortunate that it gets to a stage for an installer or a consumer or a retailer who needs to go to Crap Solar, to get some sort of
resolution.
But it's annoying, but somehow it's the only way. Installers trying to get paid for installs, jump on Facebook and they get paid within the week. But those are the things I'll be dealing with late at night, 10, 11, 12 at night, between 2, 3 parties sometimes. Like, it's obviously when the alcohol coming in, because I couldn't do it at home. I didn't want to do it at home. The pub was the office, and I did that at the one pub. They had a smoking area, like a pokey smoking area, open till 3, 4 in the morning, 7 days a week. They knew me there. No one disturbed me with the laptop. Yeah, that's sort of how it started. That's how the rapid fire tech support that I just wanted to ingrain into the industry, how it should be. That's where it happened, because I was doing it all. I'll be texting Hot Rod from Fronius at like 11 o'clock at night. Like, hey man, this guy's got an install tomorrow. He doesn't know you. He doesn't know what to do. Can you help him out? Give me some tips. And then all the other manufacturers start getting involved.
It's funny how these relationships pan out, Jack. Obviously, Luke, you, myself, we've all got a great relationship with Hot Rod. And Hot Rod was actually at my house the day that my wife pulled the pin. All of a sudden, I'm divorced. He was there that day. And you just like, fuck. I spent a lot of time with Hot Rod, right? Part of the family, having him over for tea in Perth. But yeah, I get it. You end up having a relationship with manufacturers that we didn't really think possible.
And just to add on to that, it's weird. Like, I never thought when this whole social media thing started and the whole community that we built, I never thought that I would be calling people like Hot Rod, like, one of my best friends, or Sean from Clenergy, one of my best friends, and people I didn't even know from a bar or show 5 years ago. It's just, there's just so many great people in the industry. And it's just, that's like a testament to Cutters, how you can actually bring these people together. But just so many messages, man, just all the time, like all night, like 3, 4 in the morning, every morning.
So did it get to a point where it was a burden on you?
Yeah, but I couldn't stop because other people needed help and no one was, going to help. I was obsessed, Luke, like obsessed with helping people. Well, helping people in a way where I'll provide them tech support, get them the answer. If I didn't know the answer, I'll go, as I said, to the world's end at any time to get the answer for them. I don't know. I think it's like an OCD thing. But I just wanted to get the answer, help them out. So then, I don't know, it's almost, I'm like self-gratifying, almost like a bit narcissistical, where it's just like, if I get him the answer, he'll think I'm cool, or I've done a great thing.
Right.
Or he think I'm really awesome. He'll tell someone else I'm awesome. I don't know. It was just it was weird how I just went to all these lengths to help.
The Inner Workings of Human Nature by Jack Longy Long.
Well, especially
I get it though, man. I get it.
I think a lot of people get it. I think it is part of human nature, and Luke and I have made it a point to ask people about this on the group. How do they manage their work-life balance? And some people, like Sean, and he was adamant, he doesn't manage this very well at all. It's work, and
Sean does it.
Yeah. And then we've had the complete opposite, which is, close down the laptop at 5 o'clock and
kill switch.
Yeah, have to switch it off because otherwise we'd burn out.
That's why it's so difficult, because obviously I work in solar, and the solar cutters is like highly relative to my job role, my day job. Like, they're just so intersynced. So you sort of can't turn it off. I sort of buried myself in it, and it got to a point where it was almost too late, really, because I was just that immersed in the whole cutters thing and trying to build it.
But you built such a big profile too. It was almost like celebrity status, because people recognized you, and because you had interacted with so many people, you go to an industry event or a trade show or networking event, people see Longy and they just want a piece of him because you're so familiar to everyone.
Yeah, that's sort of why me and Costa wanted to do like the events in 2017. I think we had the first Cutters event just before All Energy. It was late 2017, I think. And then that was great. But Cutters was quite established as being independent. And then I wanted an event that, there was no sales pitches for manufacturers, none of that, no sales wheels, it was no professional networking. It was meant to be just hanging out, networking, having a drink, meeting up and just talking to the people that you've been talking to with online for however long, and putting faces to names, meeting people and just having a good time. That wasn't happening in the industry. Like, there's no such thing as a free lunch, obviously. So obviously those events are obviously all sponsored, but we make it very clear that it's Cutters, it's community, no big sales pitches, small speeches. And that's why, you only really see high quality responses on the bills, only usually 4 or 5 normally. And the ones that we pick and choose are the ones who actually believe in the cutters community and the network and everything.
And they're active in it too, right?
They're very proactive in it. That's why I wanted to bring up Clenergy. So I didn't know Sean from A Bar of Soap until he messaged me a few years ago. He's like, hey man, we should have dinner. I saw the cutters page. I love what you're doing. This is awesome. Like I wanted this in the soul for so long. This is sick. Yeah, started chatting and stuff. And then the relationship blossomed. And Clenergy, they have cutter rail now. But what was interesting is after all these chats and deep dive into the cutters where we can get a page, we worked out that Clenergy were probably the first manufacturer to start using it professionally. Does that make sense? So they would actually harvest the page, for feedback on the products, tech support. So they sort of followed what Fronius were doing, but they're sort of doing it in a sort of a different way. And that's how their stakeholders group happened, which I think you'd be a part of, Luke.
Yeah, a couple of times.
But no, it's sort of working well because now, just based on the network now, if there's any issues, you tag Sean, Ivan, Mick, which is what Fronius was sort of doing.
That's been insanely successful for their business. And obviously they've got the most market share of any product in the industry. The biggest market share in inverters manufacturers got 25, 30%, and Clenergy's got well north of 50% market share. So nobody else has got a bigger chunk of the market as Clenergy, and their support and engineering has grown out of things like this. So the need for that engineering has come up simply because we say, hey, hang on, we don't have the engineering for this. What can we do? And obviously it gets fed back, and then engineering resources get employed in order to solve these problems. So we've managed to complete the circle there, which is mostly in thanks to you.
Well, thanks. The whole thing was just, for me, it was just rapid fire tech support, man. I just wanted people to get support quickly online. Like they're posting on the page, like they need help. Let's just tag the manufacturer in.
You've even had a tweet with Elon, I believe. Elon Musk.
Yes, he wanted the tattoo.
Ah, the tattoo.
You wanted the tattoo.
That was 18 months, 2 years ago?
2.5, 3 years ago, I think.
Time flies, though. There you go.
The Fronius tattoo, though, and the welding helmet.
Welding helmet, the famous welding helmet. Well, we're talking about that off air early on, how the situation with manufacturers' merch has needed to improve out of sight. Here we are, all sitting around sporting the very best manufacturers' merch. I've got a REC stubby cooler, and I'm wearing a Sungrow shirt. Luke's
co-branded
Fronius today.
Co-branded with Nike. Fantastic.
We've come a long way. It has to be Hollywood spec. It has to be quality. I remember, Karl, like EM, like 2014, around that time, the merch was like everyone. It was rubbish.
I've still got an EM Solar Professionals jumper that will pull over type.
Oh, the blue one?
Fleece, yeah. It came with the work van. It was just in the back of the
that's right.
No one gave it to me, and I'm still using that, 10 years later?
But I bet you're still not wearing the sunglasses you got given back then, because they break within a month and whatever else, similar things.
Don't even take those sunnies these days because they're utter garbage.
But merch has come a long way. And Jack, I imagine you've been a recipient of huge amounts of merch.
I've pretty much cleared out the entire Fronius catalogue of merch, activewear, solar merch, welding merch.
Did you happen to get one of those pairs of Enphase pliers at the Smart Energy Conference last week in their bag?
No.
It was a multi-tool, like a Leatherman sort of thing. I gave mine away to Shane Arnold. I said it would be handy for one of his kids.
I've got the Fronius Leatherman. I got one. I asked for two and got thrown under the bus for that one. But do you remember All Energy a few years ago when everyone had those Solar Edge multi-tools? Yep. Everyone went through airport security?
No, I didn't get one of those, but I'll tell you what, I'm still using the Solar Edge 12-volt USB adapter that I got at Intersolar about 5 years ago. That's been absolutely fantastic. Works really well. Got 2 USB outputs on the one cigarette lighter.
The SunPower solar panel bag.
Wait, that's not the Infinite one, though, is it?
What's that?
That's not the Infinite one, is it?
No, this is from SunPower.
No, but remember, I think Infinite Rowan has one, and Costa's got the Sun Power Infinite. It's got backpack with the solar cell on it. I never got one of those.
Yeah. So that's some really good merch. It's only
That's it.
SunPower branded.
Down tools. Jack
Charge
didn't
your
get one
phone.
of those.
Is that an actual Sun Power?
So
one?
Sun Power, Jack doesn't have one of these bags. Please.
I'll be texting Chris Brown if he's watching after this. He's got my jacket. I want to get that backpack.
Just jumping across. So you carried a lot of the solar cutters. You did the hours. It's all unpaid. You felt that personal compulsion. Fast forward to the present day, and it really developed over time where people ask questions and technical things where you would have shouldered the burden, whereas now there's an organic community of other guys who understand the problem, can give an answer, and there's a whole community around the country who jump in there and help.
Yeah, so I don't crowbar in as much as I used to. I sort of tried to take a step back. Like, I'm not the same person I was 4 or 5 years ago when it sort of started. I had to build the community. But now there's a well-oiled machine. So we've got a really solid admin. So we got, obviously, Cliff Wigg, who started the page. Johan Fleury's on there. Shane Clayton, legend, he's an admin on there. And obviously Costa's an admin. And we've just brought on, Knacker's Laidlaw. Sort of more of a role for him to just suss out all the standards, just so as cutters, as a company, we're sort of more across all the standards that are coming in, or just changes to anything really on level. Obviously, because he's got the RTO now as well. He's
got the RTO. He's super sharp. We had him on a couple of episodes back.
Yeah.
Anyone who's listening into our conversation who hasn't heard it, good idea to have a listen to Knackers.
In 2015, he was actually the one person who forced me to get my CEC design accreditation.
Yeah, right.
So he was working, I think it was Sun Edison, and it's weird seeing Knackers in an office set up, like, if you know.
Yeah. It's near impossible now, like, unless you're an electrician or electrical engineer, it's near impossible to get your design accreditation.
Yeah, obviously I'm not an electrician, so I had to do a whole series of TAFE courses in DC circuitry as an RPL. And then I did the GSCS design only course, and then I did the CEC design accreditation and the case study. But I wouldn't even know now if that's even a thing anymore. Like, can you get the design accreditation?
I don't think you can without. I think you need an actual degree, or
it was if you're,
or you need a trade,
engineering degree or A grade Sparky. Surely you could get it now, because I want salespeople to have it,
or at least, if it's a larger team or larger retailer, having at least one of the sales team having it's helpful. Back in the Sun Edison days, and we were doing some PPA proposals and stuff, you're my go-to man in Melbourne to do technical vetting and design and advice. And then Karl's always been on the end of the phone. He's my other tech support.
I miss Karl's Friday emails from Energy Matters.
Friday funnies. You could make an argument that was a foundation of crap solar. I mean, Karl was doing that back in 2012.
What would you send Karl? Like, what you were doing on the weekend or something like?
That was a really depressing time for people in the industry. So the feed-in tariff had stopped. Literally, we had one customer that went broke and disappeared. And look, I've forgotten the guy's name, if you can remember. But yeah, it just vanished off the face of the earth. I owed a shitload of money around town. Luke and I weren't no spring chickens, but we've
seen many since then too, Karl. There's been a few since then.
Yeah, just disappearing entirely. And look, it causes a lot of stress. This is a capital-intensive business, and you might have seen me recently in the forum saying to people, get deposits, get paid on the day. It's critically important.
Yeah, I think Energy Matters used to take the balance like the day before.
Smart business. This idea that there's a slight dent in the roof and I'm not going to pay you for 6 months, get fucked. It's not on.
No.
Bullshit. Collect money before you get there. When you sell Powerwall for $18,000, you say, how would you like to pay the $12,000 deposit?
Yeah.
Yeah, bring it on. And then these problems don't happen.
We need to get the sale first, I guess. But yeah. I do miss
once you've got the sale. Yeah, sure.
Once you get it, obviously. It's hard for some. But I do miss those legends, man, like Jeremy Rich, Brassy, Max, Walker, because that's all we knew back then. Like me anyway, like working for EM, like you're pretty siloed. The only other companies that I knew, this is like 2010, 11, were like Energy Matters, Enviro Group, Solar Gain, and there was like Unleash Solar, which was like that rubbish one, and then
True Value was around then.
But True Value, Solar Shop. I think Solar Shop was more like 07, 08, 09 with those like the 60
pentagonal pieces.
Yeah, Canicus. Yeah.
Into the Pentatool to get them off the roof now.
Yeah. So Jack, what started being funny in the group? What got you into the hashtag this and hashtag that? How did that begin?
I think it was just like, obviously we see all those Australian cricketers teams, selling rubbish, and it's, I think on the ad, all those crap solar posts in like 2014, 2015, 2016 always had like the big ad, 2999, 6.6 comes with Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi power.
No, that came later. But then I remember like, obviously all my comments back then were very witty, or trying to be witty, I guess, and very satirical. So then I started just peppering in the Wi-Fi. Does it come with Wi-Fi? No, guys.
Hang on, Jack, have you done the trading?
Yeah, we'll get to that too. So
we thought that Solar Edge were paying you to say that. Seriously, that's what we thought. We thought Jack's getting paid to say this for sure.
Solar Edge is a different story, but we'll get to that. But
just don't go too deep. We don't want legal letters or anything else. But shout out to MC.
Mark Cav. But no, we started doing the Wi-Fi hashtag. Does it come with Wi-Fi? And then eventually I turned it into Wi-Fi Power, POWA. And then everyone started using it. So then every time something crap got posted, it was like, does it come with Wi-Fi? Is it Wi-Fi powered? And then just like an onslaught of Simpsons memes, which was semi-related. Like the guy, Homer, with like the Stone of Triumph, dragging all the inverters behind him. Like the
pile of inverters in the backyard of the big...
the barbecue. There was the barbecue one too, which was all the inverters, and there was Stone of Triumph.
There were some great memes. Like people were doing the memes, and it was taking the piss out of advertising companies that.
Yeah. So
look, it was real, right? We had a guy at an employer that Luke and I worked for. We'll put it that way, and they were changing out enough inverters that the warehouse guy was literally scrapping half a ton of gear a week. And this was a second income for him on the weekend, stripping apart inverters into scrap metal. It was spectacular.
Well, some of those inverters would have been cheaper to cut out the middleman and just go straight to the scrappers with the new units.
I think someone posted that they made like a letterbox out of an Aeroshaft or something.
That was actually a good one. Yeah, we'll pay that.
Remember that? It stuck in my mind. It even had the number on it.
I tell you what's another good one, Jack. But if you get a frozen steak and you take a heat sink off an old inverter that is detachable, they make a really good warming plate because they'll dissipate that cold very quickly. You can throw a frozen steak on it and give it 10 minutes. It'll thaw out very, very quickly. So there's a good use there for scrap aluminium heat sinks.
Well, you've done this.
Absolutely. Got one in the kitchen.
But some of those inverters turn up now. So I saw a Max Solar the other day, which has died. I'm like, how did it last this long? All of its brothers and sisters died years ago, and it was still going.
The Max Sol?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the OEM EM Sunshine Harvester?
Yeah, what a piece of shit that was.
Yeah. We replaced so many of those. Did years of R&D landed on that product. A lot of the hilarious memes that came out of the Cutter's engine were made by Mitch Richardson from RACV Solar. He made a lot of those just like jaw-dropping, hilarious, great memes. Yeah, it's a big meme period there for a while. So it's slowed down now on the memes.
But they still feature in the mail outs that you guys do and some of the news.
I only do it now occasionally on crap Solar. I think I posted one the other day with like the barbecue or something, just proper crap. But they're great. And they just good things about using those memes and sort of adding like this comedic edge to the industry. It's just nice on a Friday, just have a laugh. You know what I mean?
But it also draws a contrast because the guys who are laughing at it are guys who are installing quality products and trying to do the right thing. So it draws a contrast and says all these other turkeys selling rubbish and potentially not going to be there to service the customers and using whatever they can to sell it, Wi-Fi power.
But solar installers, resi commercial, they work like bloody like hard. So on a Friday, it's good to have a drink, have a laugh, jump on crap Solar for a bit or Cutters. Like a very funny meme that maybe was extremely relevant for your week. So that was nice to give that comedic relief to some. But then we did I think Another big one was like the hashtag sales, which quickly turned into hashtag no sales.
Pretty popular, that one, Jack.
No sales was probably my best work, I think, especially because it was really a dig at Shane Arnold from Delta, because he would always, he's one of the smartest dudes, I think, in the industry. He's so
Absolutely
quick-witted, smart, real funny dude. He just loves to laugh. And he's just like, we always used to banter on Messenger about how many sales this week. Oh, no, shit, no sales. Like, been a rubbish week. No, that's just horrible. No sales. Like obviously it sucks. You made no sales, obviously. But there was just this comedic element to it, which I found really edgy and cool. Like, no sales. How's your week? No sales. I just found it hilarious because obviously in the industry need sales.
It's funny because there's obviously those two guys that come immediately to mind. There's Shane and of course there's Adrian Amato. So Adrian had to really eat a big bag of every week for 2 years with no sales at ABB.
2 years. I mean, he was there longer than that.
Yeah, still keep turning up with a smile on his face every day.
FEMA, but they went through terrible times. They were copying flack for their after-sales service.
031, that was another big hashtag.
And he just kept battling there.
Yeah, kept battling. Everyone pinned a medal on his chest for the efforts there, but no one bought anything.
If you ever met Amato, you probably wouldn't want to say, hashtag no sales to his face, though, to be honest.
No, Adrian
can
take a joke just as well as everybody else. And I hope he does have a listen to this one.
Yeah, I remember him and Kasuf were gold, like a dream team together at Power One.
Absolutely. So he did that, and then Shane at Delta as well. Like, bit of disappointment in terms of delivered products and having to cop, the flack of products that were surviving in the market. And Shane, the best thing about Shane is he took it with good humour, not just the no sales. But
he's just always on. He's always funny and honest, and he's just like a real stand-up dude. I really respected him for it. That's why you can obviously throw him a lot of shit. So we took it onto the group and did the whole no sales thing, and then I started smashing Eddie May with it. And then he started using it too. Then all of a sudden, people would start using hashtag no sales or hashtag negative sales.
Just coming to where we are now, what's on the horizon? You guys do the best networking events. You've got the Solar Cutter Awards coming up at All Energy. You've got the networking events at pretty much all the major shows around the country. Yeah, what's coming up, Longy?
Like, we're known for events. Like, we're good at networking events. So Costa basically organises all those events. So that whole side of the cutters movement would not exist without Costa. He worked so hard in his own time to organize, all those events, the catering, the money, the sponsors. So like, I bring the sponsors in. Yeah, he does all the grunt work. So obviously Cutters is known for the Facebook group and the big networking events, which are usually on the eve of All Energy, which is the big one, and then the SCC event in Sydney,
which was excellent, mind you. The recent one, that was huge.
Bring it on, the super spreader event.
I think we want to move into a direction where it's more training orientated. We want to sort of get really involved with manufacturers and deliver good training, which delivers CPD points for installers. That's where the value is, I think. I think that's sort of where we sort of want to head. We sort of want to do, joint training sessions with, Clenergy, Enphase, Feronius, REC, whoever really. And put on a
few subtle name drops there, Jack. Well done.
But it seems like a natural progression because the online stuff is going to keep happening. The networking is still going to happen, and then that seems the obvious thing.
We're really good at events. We're good at drinking. We're good at socializing. Good at networking at events. And we're good at merch. The next natural progression, which is relative to Cutters and the working together group with the content that's posted, is obviously training. So there's a few things in the works, but I think, like a CPD thing, co-branding, doing like a bit of a roadshow with different manufacturers, but putting on a good, solid event where it delivers CPD, meaningful training, then obviously there's networking, socializing at the back end. It's a lot of work. That's why we've sort of got Lauren on board now. She's sort of like the marketing and PR manager. So shout out to her. She does a lot of work too. But seriously, it's so hard, man. As I was saying before, like, it's just because it's so intertwined with my work, which is the same thing basically. And Cutters is basically my personal life. So it's just work 24/7. I can say it freely now because at Energy Matters, they had an issue with the whole cutters thing, maybe because it was a bit early, they didn't understand it. And you sort of walk that line where you don't want to say something online that might affect who you work for or something like that. But no, so when I was at RACV, yeah, they were very well aware of solar cutters, and I will have to do other stuff part of it. But then the whole Gippsland Solar RACV thing, yes, the Big Mac Andy was super supportive through the whole process. Like, he supports cutters, like he loves it for the industry. No, it wasn't a problem. Like, he fully embraces the whole thing.
And you guys already had a good relationship before then.
Yeah, like, we've been really good friends since like 2013, 2014. Like, he's like a friend, not a boss kind of thing. He's like one of the greatest dudes that I know. No, big shout out to him because he's actually probably technically the guy who came up with the term like solar cutters.
Well, that's a revelation. Here's me thinking that it was Adrian Naranjo in the background.
So Adrian actually wrote the mission statement.
Right. So just for people that don't know, Adrian Naranjo was the country manager for Fronius. What are we calling it? 6 years ago now? 7?
Good question, man. 2016, 2017?
Yeah, look, his life's changed a lot, right? Moved to the States, representing Fronius over there, young family now. Looking forward to seeing him again, probably hoping for a cutters event, I guess, or an intersolar trip next year.
Yeah, he's like one of my biggest inspirations and heroes. Like, so there's probably like, yes, Adrian from Fronius and Nick Brass, Energy Matters, now Soul Pod. I think they're probably the biggest inspirations on the early days to drive that passion. Because I think Nick Brass and Adrian were the first two people in the industry way back then who I saw was like genuinely passionate about solar in the industry. And I was like, wow, I want to be like these people. Me and Adrian talk like, I don't know, every 3 days. He's just such a nice dude. And like, he's just so passionate.
Indeed. So way back when I was working for Energy Matters, he came over to visit me in WA. They took me out for lunch. That was the first time anyone had ever taken me out for lunch. And I thought, wow, look at this. It's amazing.
Free lunch.
Free lunches and shit. Obviously, that's what I do these days. I take people out for lunches either for trying to get their business or thanking them.
I'd love to see your count of lunches since then, Karl.
I do it for the team, you know.
it's a burden you have to carry.
That's it. That's exactly right.
I remember
sacrifices.
I remember when Adrian was here with Fronius country manager, and then he had to sell a container of IG60s, Karl.
I sold those things to Rowan.
And then he went out with him and John Cooper. They did a trip up the coast. And then you know how John Cooper is.
Yes.
Anyway, they're doing the sales pitch and it's just to clients and stuff. And then John, like, you know, he's a very low talker. He turns to Adrian and he's just like, I'm not really a big fan of your IG60s. And Adrian's like, John, I have to sell a container of these.
That reminds me, Jack, while I'm on gardening leave, I actually have to go around to my mum and dad's place, and they had one of those RG60s installed, and I need to replace a board in it, which was kindly supplied by Fronius a couple of months ago, but I've been waiting for the weather to turn to shit because it's got 2 power stacks in it, and one of them's still working just fine, and this time of year, that means that it's just fine. So I'm going to replace the other one sometime in the next 2 weeks when I'm in gardening leave.
Nice.
Now, that's all we've got time for today, but Longy, really appreciate you coming on. It's been a great chat.
Thank you for having me on.
Thanks again, Jack. Much appreciated. We'll make sure to put you in the calendar sometime in the future so we can get the rest of the story. Thank you.
I'll see you two at the Cutters event at All Energy.
Absolutely.
Hoping so. It's not that far away now, only a couple of months, yeah?
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Thanks again, Longy. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe, like, share to anyone who might get benefit. Cheers.